you is that you have ambition to be great. My job is to coach you to get all that greatness out of you.
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for yet another one. I hope everyone is having a fantastic weekend thus far. Man, Monday, as much as we dread it when we approaches, feels so good when it's done. And 24 hours, you'll be done your Monday. So don't worry, guys. I know everyone heading into their Monday morning, they're dreading it. And Sunday night is when you start to feel that dread. But let's talk some football and get away from that dread for a little bit. Already 100 of you guys in the room. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Appreciate all of you. We are on our way to 9,000. We are just over 500 away from that. Let's get there before the season starts. Shout out to everyone already showing out in the comments for tonight. Appreciate all you. We got Young Finn from Miami. We got Angel. We got Barry Bailey, Robert Thompson, Diesel, Jason Keck, Perfect Q, CB83, Paulie King, Fred, Scott, Andy, Joint to Joint, Jim, Foxing Around, Jamie, Hammer, Marino's Goat, Atkin, Vickin, Barry Brennan. What's going on, man? Wooback's here, Rashad. Did I say Young Fin fan Miami? If I didn't, what up? Chris, Steve O, Robert, Stetsino, Jolin, Hank, Randy, Gatekeeper. What's going on, everyone? I hope everyone is having a fantastic night. So yeah, we got a ton to talk about. Programming update. My Tyreek Hill, everything's done, but I'm going to drop it on Tuesday when the rookies report, because I feel like we're going to have a little bit more eyes than we're going to have on a Sunday night for that. So it's done. It's wrapped up in a bow. It's ready to go. And I originally told you guys I wanted to do 5 plays. Actually worked out. We're going to break down about 8 plays, and one of those plays is just to spite Buffalo Bills fans. You already know what time it is. So we got the Tyreek breakdown will come on Tuesday when the rookies report to camp. So be on the lookout for that show. Tonight we got a ton to talk about. Terron Armstead's been purely disrespected by ESPN. We're gonna dive into that. I'm gonna tell you exactly why they disrespected him. I'm gonna show you why. I'm gonna show you how they disrespected him. Then I'm gonna explain to you why they disrespected him. Mike Clay of ESPN put out an interesting grading chart ranking each unit of each team in the NFL. We're going to go over our 3 best, our 3 worst, because it might surprise you. Something we've always been talking about on this channel, is Mike McDaniel and how he's kind of set up Boyer for success, but also if Boyer falls flat on his face, McDaniel set himself up where Boyer takes the blame and not him. And we're going to talk about how much pressure is on Boyer to perform this year. And we're going to look back at 2020 a little bit. And we're going to see how he performed when he was, when everyone knew he was the play caller. Last year, no one knew who was wiping whose ass, let alone who was calling the plays. Well, guess what? We're going to look at 2020, where their ranking were, and then we're going to look at the rankings of 2021. 2020, we knew Boyer was calling the plays. 2021 was the mystery men. So we're going to take a look at it because you know what? When you look at 2020, there's a lot of cause for hope, right? A lot of cause for hope. Also, Bleacher Report dropped an article talking about every NFL team's best kept secret for 2022. They picked a good player, but I think they're wrong. I'm going to explain who I think is the best kept secret for the 2020 of the Miami Dolphins. They picked a good player, but I think they're wrong. On top of that, we're just going to have some little Alec Ingold stat fun, and I'll give you an update on the salary cap. So we got a ton to go over, but I want to start off with this. I was going to tweet it out, and I couldn't fit it in enough characters. Okay. Now, anyone who watches me regularly, we've been going over these ESPN rankings because they've been surveying, I believe, 50 NFL execs, scouts, players, et cetera, and we've taken issue with some rankings, and that's fine. We took issue with the Tyreek Hill rankings. And I took massive issue with the Terron Armstead. I mean, Tyreek Hill was disrespect. This is absolutely disrespect what they've done. But my whole thing here, where I'm at with all this, when I got into this Dolphin community in 2019, remember I'm from Canada, so until I really started getting involved, sure, I knew about local media, but I wasn't as enthralled as I am right now, and I wasn't as ingrained as I am right now. So I've had 3 years to basically assess, you know what I mean? 3 good years when I've been knee deep into this community. And I used to laugh it off when people would say to me, the media hates the Dolphins, or the media has it out for the Dolphins, or whatever the case may be. When I joined in 2019, a lot of locals make it sound like a conspiracy theory. And, I kind of blew it off. You know what I mean? Remember, also, unless I go search for it, like when I watch, Undisputed or whatever, I got to basically go, we don't get FS1 in Canada. So I got to go out of my way and look for it. I used to go out of my way and look for, I have sites that stream American channels. So, you guys turn on the TV, it's in your face. I had to go looking for it, right? To grasp what the American media is. But now, obviously, I go looking for it now because of what I do in this community. So, I used to laugh it off. I used to be like, whatever. I'm telling you, you look at Tyreek Hill. Pretty much it's a consensus. It's him or Devontae Adams are the best 2 receivers in the NFL. This guy gets traded to Miami. All of a sudden, he's number 5. All of a sudden, you got ESPN lists coming out ranking Jamar Chase higher than Tyreek Hill. I'll go even further. Ranking Jamar Chase higher than Justin Jefferson. Like, are we serious right now? You got a kid who did it for 1 year. Tyreek's done it for 6. Multi-time Pro Bowler. Most explosive athlete in the NFL. Super Bowl ring. But all of a sudden, he's on the cusp of being outside the top 5. He's at 5. He's just there now. Goes from lock number 3 to, he's just number 5 now. And now this Terron Armstead thing. We'll get into it. But these pardon my French, if children are watching, cover their ears. We're going R for a sec. These motherfuckers at ESPN ranked Terron Armstead outside the top 5 and well outside the top 5. And what's the correlation? Lock top 5 players. If you ask anyone in the NFL before they signed with the Dolphins, now they signed with the Dolphins. Tyreek's no longer a top 3 receiver. Terron Armstead's no longer a top 3, top 5 lineman in the NFL. What are we on right now? I'm sitting back and I'm watching it, and it's like, now we're getting blatantly obvious. I mean, now we're getting in. Now it's hard to call. I look back on 2019 reason, and I think to myself, man, if you only knew what you'd know in 3 years, you wouldn't have been laughing that off. Like, take the Tua stuff aside, and just look at how they've treated Tyreek and Terron Armstead since they've come here. They're no longer talking about top 3 players at their position, when last year they were locks at it. And don't give me, Terron Armstead was injured last year. They were still ranking him in the top 5 when he was hadn't played a healthy season his whole career. What changed? The colors he's wearing. Man, and I ain't trying to be out here sounding like Alex Jones of the Dolphins community, but this is some next level stuff. I'm sitting here watching this, and I don't get it. I get, we all, some people theorize, the Tua hate stems from Alabama because they're such a powerhouse. Bro, last time I checked, the Dolphins ain't been a powerhouse in how long? Why is there so much hate? And I've talked to people, internally and connected internally, and I've pretty much gotten the same answer. a lot of it stems from when Parcells started blacking out the media and pushing them out the door. And there's still some resentment lingering, and then again, on top of that, you look at it, a lot of mainstream media is based in New York. So there's a good chance a lot of them are loser Jet fans, right? So, and again, you look at Zach Thomas and Richmond Webb, not first ballot, second ballot Hall of Famers, right? Garn just said that in the comments. That's another great addition to it. We got players where you can't talk about the tackle position in the 90s without talking about Richmond Webb, but he's not in the Hall of Fame. You can't talk about the linebacker position in the 2000s without talking about Zach Thomas, but he's not in the Hall of Fame. Someone explain to me how this makes sense. And it's constant. And I'll be the first to admit, I used to think y'all locals were bluffing me. I used to thought you were over exaggerating. You're being dramatic. I apologize. Y'all were 110% right. The Tyreek and Terron Armstead. See, I'm not over here getting all amped up over Tua. The Tyreek and now the Terron Armstead rankings were the final straw for me. Literally, those are the final straw for me. I think those are the biggest joke in the world. And I need to talk to these NFL execs, personnel, and players who did Terron Armstead dirty like ESPN claims. Because let me tell you this much. Obviously, none of these people have any fucking foresight. Because if they did, they would look at what Trent Williams was before he arrived in San Francisco. The man was traded for 3rd and 5th. Just had beat out cancer. People were calling him washed up, injury riddled. What has that man turned into? He just made the Mad 99 club. Terron Armstead, sure, he misses games, but he ain't, no one's calling him washed up. He just didn't beat cancer. Terron Armstead's in a lot better shape coming into Miami than Trent Williams was heading into San Francisco. So what makes these people think, like Trent Williams, Terron Armstead's going to not find another, what makes him think he's not going to find another level to his game, like Trent Williams found another level to his game under Mike McDaniel? See, this is the nonsense. Now this is blatant. It was one thing because no one knew what Tua's ceiling was. It's a very gray area with Tua Tagovailoa right now, whether you go on the tape, the analytics, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of gray area. There ain't no gray area with Tyreek and Terron Armstead when they're healthy and they're on the field. Top 3 at their positions. Top 3. It's not even a question. And all because now they don our colors. The disrespect flows. It's nonsense, man. I want us to win even more now because I want to shove it down these guys' throats for disrespecting our stars like this. We've added Terron Armstead. The guy's on a first ballot Hall of Fame course. So is Tyreek Hill. And they're both in their primes, but they're not top 5 at their position. Explain. Make it make sense. These guys are literally straight on track to gold jackets in the prime, but they're not top 5 in their position. Explain this to me. Makes no sense whatsoever. I'm tired of it, man. We put up with them disrespecting our quarterback. Now they're going to be out here disrespecting our proven and bona fide stars because they're rocking our colors. I'm going to create a new word right now. This, on July 17th at 8:36 p.m. Eastern Time, is the declaration that we are facing franchisism from the media. Our franchise is being clearly I mean, the evidence is all there that our franchise is being hated on for no reason. You know, they're out here trying to oppress our quarterback. Now they're out here trying to oppress our stars and box them in. And it's all because of the logo that these guys rep. That's what it's all about. That's what, listen, let me tell you this one. Let me hit you with this. If Tyreek would have been traded to the Raiders, you think they'd be saying this about Derek Carr? Or you think they'd be saying this about Tyreek Hill? You think they'd be dropping Tyreek Hill out of the top 3? I mean, it's clear as day. This is franchisism. The media is discriminating against our logo and against our franchise. And any player that joins us, until you even, like, I can't even say until you prove you're elite. Because Terron Armstead and Tyreek Hill have already proven they're elite, and they're still getting discriminated against because they're rocking our colors. J-Boy says it best, we're starting a new movement. Miami Dolphins lives matter, baby. All right, enough facetiousness. I'm just joking around. But it is true. We are being, like, these guys are clearly being hated on for rocking our colors. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. And and I watch the Toronto Raptors. And no one wants them players coming out to Toronto. At all. So, I mean, I don't know. All I know is I'm going to call this franchisism. Even bona fide superstars, they're not even stars. Superstars are getting discriminated against just for coming to Miami. Franchisism. I'm calling it. New word. Phinside The NFL. Bam. We locking that up. Trademark. Franchisism. That's what we facing out here. Dolphins players matter. Holla at your boy. Unbelievable. But in all seriousness, so what started this off? Man, I thought y'all were yanking my chain, being over dramatic, and a little homerism was coming into that. There's that ism again. A little homerism was coming into there. I'm on board with y'all. You weren't lying. You were warning reason. You were saying, yo, prepare yourself for what you're about to walk into. The hate. It's like, every day you wake up, it's the player hater's ball if you're a Miami Dolphins fan. Jesus Christ, it's unbelievable. I don't get it. Franchisism. We against it over here. Is what it is, man. Is what it is. So, now that I've gassed up what they did to Terron Armstead a little bit, we've created new words. We've gone to a new place, having a little fun on a Sunday, a little Sunday fun day. I guess let's look into what ESPN said, and then where we headed after what ESPN said. We're going down Know Your Role Boulevard and rebuttal drive. All right, so let's do this. Oh, by the way, save 15% off at Pick 6 Apparel by using code Phinside The NFL at pick6apparel.com. Like I said, you can get custom mugs, coasters. It's green, it's the aqua and the white. You can get any player, custom mouse pads, whatever you want. They customize everything. Go check them out. You'll get 15% off. And the shipping is ridiculously fast. So go check them out. All right, Terron Armstead. The disrespect is real. So we've gone over a bunch of these. So let's go over this one. I was worked up over Tyreek. Now you're about to see the reason blow a gasket. So they ranked the NFL's top offensive tackles for 2020. Executives, coaches, players make their picks for the best in the game. And it's the same opening I read every time. So the only thing I'll read is how the process worked. Just to remind you guys, voters gave us their best 10 players at position. Then we compiled the results and ranked candidates based on number of top 10 votes. Composite average, hundreds of interviews, research, and film study from ESPN analyst Matt Bowen. In total, more than 50 voters submitted a ballot on at least one position, and in many cases, all positions. So they had several ties. They broke them with the help of additional voting and follow-up calls with our rankers. So there you go. So here we go. The 5 of the top 10 offensive tackles are at least 30 years old. As one NFL senior national scout pointed out, young offensive tackles come into the league with less refinement and skill because colleges are playing considerably less pro-style offense. But a few young stars are aiming to change that narrative. This year's rankings feature a pair of 23-year-old former Big Ten standouts who made major moves into the top tier. But next year, more should be joining them. Let's look at some of the game's top offensive tackles as ranked by execs, coaches, scouts, and players around the NFL. So Trent Williams at number 1. Last year, he was 1 as well. I mean, no one's going to – I mean, I think him and Aaron Donald were the best players in the NFL last year. Do you know how much this hurt? Any one of you that's been following me since the Tuesday night panels on TD Fins Talk since 2019, I entered this community in 2019, and there were 3 players I wanted in the first round. Well, 4, but the third pick was between 2. Anyways, there were 3 players I said, if we get on offense, it's going to change, okay? 2 at 5, what I said. I had Tua as my first quarterback. I had Burrow as my number 2 guy. So I said 2 at 5. I said Tristan Wirfs. And I said Jonathan Taylor. And if you can't get Jonathan Taylor, because I thought he'd be the first back off the board, no doubt. I said then me and EM were like, go get Antoine Winfield Jr. He wasn't there with me. He liked DeAndre Swift. But we both agreed that if you're not going running back with that 3rd first-round pick, go get Antoine Winfield Jr. Now we got Javon Holland, so I'm not going to cry. So, but if we would have got, and I know for a fact, I've talked about this multiple times on the show for years. I know we were trying to move up, right? That's why Tampa Bay moved up 1 spot with San Fran, because we were trying to move up with that pick, with that 18th pick to go get him. We were going to give the 18th pick, a 2nd round pick, and a 5th, I believe, and they wanted a 3rd added to that as well. They wanted a 3rd or a 4th added to that as well, because they wanted to move. The problem with San Francisco was the overpay needed to happen because they wanted to get off Javon Kinlaw. If they thought Dallas was gonna take Javon Kinlaw, so they were basically making us overpay. And where Greer wouldn't budge was that extra 3rd, 4th pick, 3rd, 4th round pick. That's where he wouldn't budge, and they took Austin Jackson. So, anyways, this is high for a player entering his 3rd season. But I mean, look at Tristan. So when my heart sank when I saw that, bro, I'm telling you this. But look at that. I want to show a key thing. Okay, we can all agree in his rookie year he was arguably the best right tackle in football. But last year they only ranked him 8th. All right, so keep that in mind. After 1 year, David Bacchiardi, solid. I don't think he's better than Terron Armstead, but he's awesome. And I mean, the guy, he didn't even play a snap last year, I believe, right? So, yeah, I don't know about that. Rashawn Slater, been in the league for 1 year, and he's already ranked number 4, well above Terron Armstead, might I add. Been in the league 1 year. 1 year. Tristan Wirfs was the best right tackle in football in his rookie season, won a goddamn Super Bowl, and they only ranked him 8th last year after 1 year. They're jumping this guy. It's the same thing they did with Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, they throw up to 3. You guys are crazy. So, Tyron Smith, I mean, that's a little high for me. Number 6, Laramie Tunsil. Yeah, feel that one, Dolphin fans. Number 7, Lane Johnson. Feel that one too, Dolphin fans. Thank you, Dion Jordan. Thank you, Dion Jordan, you clown. Ronnie Stanley, I think he should be a little bit higher, but okay. Ryan Ramczyk, absolute stud. Absolute stud. He's a top 10 guy. Terron Armstead, number 10. This guy falls from 4 last year to number 10. And I don't want to hear the injury thing. And the reason why I don't want to hear the injury thing is because we go back up here to David Bacchiardi. And David Bacchiardi last year was 2, and he only dropped to 3, and he didn't play a goddamn snap. Terron, the 10th best tackle. After being a fixture in the top 5 for the past 2 seasons, they'd say. Last year he was ranked 4th. Armstead's fall to number 10 is a slight surprise. Miami sees him as a top shelf tackle after giving him a 5-year, $75 million free agency deal this offseason, but he has missed 48 games in 9 seasons, and some teams didn't love his 2021 tape. He's still an above-average pass blocker. What are you talking about? His run blocking wasn't great, which is interesting considering where he signed. An AFC executive said the Miami offense will be run-heavy with Coach Mike McDaniel, probably with designed passes for Tua Tagovailoa and keepers. But a high-ranking NFL personnel man saw that as a strength. That system needs tackles with athleticism and space, and Armstead still has that. Armstead's 74.2 run block win rate was 28th amongst tackles last season, and his 89.8% pass block win rate would have just been outside the top 20 had it qualified because he missed 9 games last season, right? So here's my thing. Sure, okay. Terron Armstead last year, he only had 263 pass blocking snaps, but he only allowed 1 sack. He only allowed 9 hurries. He only allowed 12 pressures. I mean, the guy had a 97.4 efficiency rating. And don't tell me, oh, well, if he would have played more games, those numbers might have gone drastically up. Really? Really? Because the year before that, he had 569 pass blocking snaps. He only allowed 8 hurries, and he only allowed 3 sacks. The year before that, on 622 pass blocking snaps, he only allowed one sack and 16 hurries. So this is a guy who's only allowed 5 sacks over the last 3 seasons. Let's go to 4. 7 sacks over the last 4 seasons. And he's not top 10 right now? Are you crazy? Are you not taking into account? Because, the time he missed last year, that was like, in terms of how much time, that was an anomaly. He usually doesn't miss that much time, right? He usually misses 2 or 3 games. Like, we're talking about a guy who came off back-to-back seasons of 980 plus blocking snaps, whether run blocking or pass blocking combined. Right? So he usually doesn't miss that much. He hasn't missed, that many snaps since like 2016. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, I mean, you guys know how I feel about, about grades and such, right? They're very subjective when you look at it. But Terron Armstead had the 4th highest pass blocking grade in the NFL last year. 85.6. Andrew Whitworth was number 1 with 89.8. You had the 4th best pass blocking. And I've gone back and watched the tape. It lines up. It lines up. Now, I get it. Again, not a ton of, not a ton of super, not a massive sample size. But still, decent enough. And again, that's a very, the PFF grade, so take it with a ton of grain of salt. but I just don't. I don't. You know, I know as a run blocker, he wasn't as good last year as he had been in previous years, but he's still damn good at it. And if you would have put Connor Williams next to him, it would have definitely been a huge strength for him. But top 10, this guy's top 5, man. Like, let's stop lying to ourselves. If you want me to tell you, I would think, Trent Williams is number 1. I would put Wirfs at 2. I would put Terron Armstead at 3. I'd have David Bacchiardi at 4. Then I would probably have, I'm a huge Ronnie Stanley guy, so I'd probably have him at 5. Then I'd probably have Tyrone Smith at 6. Then I'd probably have Laramie Tunsil at 7, Johnson at 8. And then, Ramchuk at 9 makes a ton of sense for me too. And I think Orlando Brown is a top 10 guy. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Look at, they got Penei Sewell in the honorable mentions. Disrespectful because, come on, man. And I mean, you could see the conflict right here, right? Like look at this, right? The Miami offense will be run heavy with Coach Mike McDaniel, probably with design passes for Tua Tagovailoa and keepers. What is this guy? What is this executive making here? We want him in open space. We want him to be on an island so we can help other guys on the offensive line. That's why this one guy who saw it as a strength, he's right. So, I mean, the disrespect to Terron Armstead, and it's all because, you don't got to tell me why it is. I know it's because of the colors he's wearing right now. It's franchisism. We're seeing it with Tyreek. We've seen it with Tua. Let's call a spade a spade. Sam Darnold never got this bad of a rap. Johnny Manziel was way more of a disaster, and even he doesn't make the news as much as Tua does. So, I don't know. Kind of crazy. The disrespect for Terron Armstead, it's like, I go back to it, like Roy Jones. Y'all must have forgot. Y'all must have forgot how good this guy was, right? We got to remind you. And I guess this offense and Mike McDaniel are going to have to remind people what time it is out here. So let's get into Josh Boyer here. Interesting article from Omar Kelly, and it talks about something I've been talking about on this channel. Remember, I've been saying on this channel, I love the way McDaniel set up Boyer in terms of he's returned the defense. He's only added to it. He's upgraded the coaching staff with Surtain and Madison. He's basically given Boyer no excuses. So if Boyer falls on his face, he can say, yep, see, hey, I didn't interfere. I let him do his thing. Now I want to bring in my guys, and then we can make a play for Vic Fangio or something. Very smart by McDaniel. I've been talking about this since they announced Boyer was staying. So will Dolphins defensive coordinator Josh Boyer be able to prove he doesn't need Brian Flores' help? Say whatever you'd like to about Brian Flores' resume as a head coach. We will criticize his willingness to work collaboratively with others or his ability to coach offense. It's fair to point out the Miami Dolphins former coach's limitations in those areas. But what can't be denied is that Flores is one of the NFL's young, innovative geniuses when it comes to building a defense, game playing, and in-game defensive play calling. The success the Dolphins had under Flores, who was fired at the end of the 2021 season after producing a 24-25 record the past 3 years, can mainly be pinned on the defense's ability to carry the team to victories, which it did for 2 consecutive winning seasons. And it would be disingenuous to think Flores didn't take a heavy-handed approach on that side of the ball, no matter who was assigned to the defensive coordinator title. Especially in the second half of the 2021 season, when the team rebounded from its 1-7 start, winning 8 of its 9 final games, mainly because the defense became one of the NFL's most aggressive pass rushing teams. While Josh Boyer has received most of the credit for that turnaround, there are players and former coaches who claim Boyer's influence and role had been watered down during that stretch as Flores took a heavy-handed approach when the wins began to pile up. That might explain why the hybrid defense Flores installed in 2019 began to resemble how the team played and executed during the 2020 season, which is when Miami's defense finished 6th in the NFL and were the league leaders in turnovers created. In fairness to Boyer, a student of the game who worked his way up the coaching ranks as Flores' understudy in New England since 2006. He was technically the defensive coordinator during Miami's two winning seasons. So Boyer had a hand in Miami's successes and rightly shouldered some of the blame for their failures. Let's hope that Boyer has grown from his experiences the past 2 seasons and doesn't need Flores' presence to effectively operate the zero blitz defense, which has become Miami's calling card on that side of the ball the past 2 years. Hopefully, Boyer has a good grasp on the defense's personnel, which features all but 2 key contributors returning this offseason, and that he knows how to maximize the unit's strengths and master weaknesses. Same coordinator, same player, similar philosophy, paired with more experience should equate to a reliable, if not stingy defense, right? There is recall, and that gives you the ability to do similar things by tweak it here to improve it. But the biggest advantage is the communication between the players, Boyer said this offseason when discussing the continuity Miami's defense features. Not only do they know the guy that is next to him, they know how they play. And so do most of the coaches, which means Miami isn't starting from square one. Despite Flores' removal, the firing of secondary coach Gerald Alexander, Charles Burks leaving the Dolphins to coach the Cincinnati Bengals cornerbacks. We all grow and mature in our chosen field, and Boyer deserved the opportunity to do that the past 2 seasons. But now he'll need to prove he can put his own flavor on the Dolphins defense, doing more than preparing the meal Flores brought the groceries for. Each year, a defense is forced to evolve because of its talent base and the infusion of newcomers. For Miami, that label only applies to pass rusher Melvin Ingram, an 11-year veteran signed in the rookie class, which is made up of draftees Channing Tindall and Cameron Good. There's also the hope that youngsters like Jalen Phillips and Javon Holland, who had impressive rookie seasons in 2021, will elevate their level of play in year 2. Miami needs Boyer to find a way to bring out the best in all of its defenders because a reliable, if not stingy and opportunistic defense can be a new offense's best friend. That's why it's on Boyer to ensure that the 2022 Dolphins defense remains unfriendly to opponents. Now, there's a lot of debate on who called what last year. And, but we know 2020, it's been confirmed that Josh Boyer was the play caller. So let's look at this for a sec. All right. Now that we know, it was 2020, let me bring this up for you guys. Okay. So when you take a look at Josh Boyer as obviously as a DC. Okay. These are our rankings in each season with him as a DC. All right. So the one highlighted right now is 2020. So you look at it, and the Dolphins were 20th in yards allowed, 6th in points allowed, right? Rushing defense, they were 16th in yards allowed, 18th in touchdowns allowed, 18th in yards allowed, 4th in fumbles recoveries, right? Now, passing defense, they were actually 13th in attempts against, surprisingly. But they were 2nd in touchdowns allowed and 1st in interceptions. But they were 24 in net yards allowed. So you look at it right there, right? That's the mixture right there. 6th in points allowed as a defense, 2nd in passing touchdowns allowed, 1st in interceptions. That's why they could get away with allowing being 18th in rushing touchdowns allowed. Now, so you guys know exactly what we're talking about in 2020, okay? As a defense, they allowed 4,024 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 18 interceptions. Okay. In net yards gained per pass attempt, which is the NYA, they had about 6.9. They had 29 turnovers as a defense, which was obviously one of the top in the NFL. Now, again, rushing, they allowed 1,862 yards and 17 touchdowns. Obviously not ideal. But you look at how stingy we were against the pass, and we only allowed 338 points as a defense, which again, as a defense, He's 6th best in points allowed. That's very good. And the reason why I'm highlighting 2020 is this is the year he was play calling. We know he was the play caller this year. Okay. Now we get into 2021. And 2021 now, 2021 now that I've highlighted here, you see the dip. We go from 6th in points allowed to 16th. Right? They rush on us a little bit more, yet we're better in rushing yards allowed, and we stay the same in terms of rushing TDs allowed. Now, as a passing defense, this is where it gets tricky a little bit, right? We allowed less yards passing, right? Obviously, because, we went from 13th, 13th highest defense in terms of targeted through the passing game to now 22nd. We dropped 9 spots. But look at that. We dropped from 1 to 14th in terms of defensive interceptions, and we dropped from 2nd to 6th. So to put that in perspective, right? So we allowed 21 passing touchdowns and 18 interceptions in 2020. In 2021, we allowed 23 and 14. We had 4 less interceptions and allowed 2 more touchdowns. Now, we did allow, we had a drop. We dropped from 4,024 yards allowed in the passing game to about 3,871. So, a little bit, 130 yards, not much of a difference, but still. But turnovers, right? We dropped from 29 turnovers. We went from 29 turnovers to 26. So the other thing too, I will say, is we actually allowed more points per average drive last year as a defense than we did the year before. Last year we allowed 1.9 points on average per drive. The year before is about 1.77. Right? Now we did improve in terms of yards allowed on each drive. We only allowed about 29.7 yards per drive. The year before in 2020 we allowed about 32.8. So, and the time was relatively the same, 234 in 2020 to 239 in 2021. So the defense, it's really going to come down to, it's going to come down to, how this team plays their zero blitz and their cover 1 packages. And we've already heard that, we've heard defensive players talk about how they're probably going to be really aggressive. They're expecting more aggression. We're going to find out. Like, if this guy drops back into zone and we're just getting ate up in zone, we're going to find an answer to this real quick. Real quick. And we're going to find out if Josh Boyer is the real deal or not real quick. So it's going to be a big year. Look at that. You go from 1st in takeaways, right, to 8th as a defense. You go from 6th in points allowed to 16th. Improved in yards. Gotta love it. But, and there you go. Our rank and takeaway giveaway ratio, we went from 3rd to 16th. That's huge. That is absolutely a huge number. Huge. 13 spots in takeaway to giveaway ratio. That's not good. So it's going to be interesting to see this year. The pressure's on Boyer. McDaniels put you in that pressure cooker, my friend, by bringing all your guys back, by upgrading your staff a little bit. The pressure is on Josh Boyer. The pressure is definitely on Josh Boyer. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. It really is, but the pressure is on Josh Boyer to perform this year. Good luck to him. Good luck to him. Moving on, guys. Mike Clay put out this interesting chart ranking every unit. Now, you can get the highest score you can average is 4. And you know, you look at this right now, and Miami's tight ends, they're graded at 2.8. Wide receivers are at 3.9. And you see the cornerbacks. Our cornerbacks are graded. And if you guys are looking for us, we're right here between the Colts and the Raiders, right down in the middle here. Look at the middle. You know, you look at the corners, and guys, cornerback is perfect 4. A perfect 4. Receivers, a 3.9. Obviously, a 4 can be a perfect score. And you look at, and so it grades out, and then it gives you basically an overall, right? So by the overall grading, they have our offense, you know, middle of the pack at a 1.9 when the highest grade is at 1.2 when the highest grade is 1.9. So they have us ranked about 18th. They have our offense ranked 18th by each unit. They have our defense ranked 13th by these units, and they overall have us ranked 19th as a team. Our worst units are starting off. Our worst unit is a linebacker. We don't even have a 0.8. I mean, we don't even have a 1. We're at a 0.8. Put that in perspective. You got to go at the way bottom here to see worst linebacking cores, not the middle of the pack team, right? And then obviously you look at 1.9 for safety and 1.9 for edge. I think that's low. I mean, Javon Holland, Eric Rowe, Brandon Jones. Javon Holland's a top 10 safety in the NFL right now. What are we talking about? Edge players, you got Jalen Phillips, who had a better rookie year than Chase Young. We've added Melvin Ingram, Emmanuel Ogbah, top 10, top 15, and a lot of meaningful edge analytics. Or, you know, I think they kind of undersold us real big at safety and edge here. But I mean, you look at all of a sudden the love for the Bengals, right? Like if they would have done this last offseason, there's no way the Bengals would have been this high. Right? And then you look at, you know, Burrow, and they've only got a 0.1 difference between Burrow and Herbert right now. And the highest quarterback ranking is Aaron Rodgers. So, you know, obviously tight end wasn't going to shift much because nothing really changed in the tight end room. Corner, I mean, I think we have one of the best slot corners in the NFL, Nick Needham. Then we obviously have one of the best boundary corner duos. So that's not surprising at all. It's not surprising at all whatsoever. I mean, people are going to run with the whole, you know, they're going to run with that. I mean, look at how they ranked our running backs. Look at how they ranked our running backs, people. They absolutely took a nice steaming hot crap on our running backs. A 0.4, Raheem Mostert, Chase Edmonds, Sony Michel, a 0.4. In what world? Like, good God. Only the Falcons and the Texans are worse than us at 0.1 and 0.3. Whew. They do not like our running back group at all. So our 3 strongest positions, if you were to go by this chart, wide receiver, tight end, and corner, are 3 weakest. Quarterback, running back, and linebacker. I agree with linebacker, 110%. Definitely need some upgrades, but just an interesting chart I thought you'd see. So they got us ranked overall as a team 19th, offense 18th, defense they got us ranked 13th. They don't even give us a top 10 defense. The disrespect continues. Jesus. The disrespect continues, people. So let's get into Bleacher Report. They came out with an article about every team's best kept secret. And they picked a good one, but I gotta disagree. Given this age of hundreds of websites dedicated to the sport, 24-hour sports networks, and even the NFL's own television channel, secrets are a relative term in 2022. The player is any kind of contributor or expected to become one. Odds are someone has talked them up. However, that doesn't mean that there aren't players who are secrets after a fashion. Some are youngsters or rotational players who are about to step into a larger role. Others are young players or veterans who just haven't been given the accolades they deserve. And others still might be known to hardcore local fans, but not to the greater football fandom. You won't find any Pro Bowlers in this article. The only first-round picks included are already on their second teams after disappointing starts to their NFL careers. But what you will find is a collection of players whom not enough folks are familiar with. The players with the potential to change this year. To change that this year, sorry. So let's go to us. We are all the way down here. And they picked a good one. I ain't going to hate on their pick. I just don't agree with it. You know what I mean? So they picked Brandon Jones. And what they said was the fact the Miami Dolphins made one of the biggest splash moves of the offseason in training for star wideout Tyreek Hill is hardly a secret. But there's another fact about the Dolphins that many casual fans don't realize. Miami has quietly gone about putting together a stout defense to go along with their new offensive firepower. And box safety Brandon Jones is an underrated component of that defense. In addition to amassing 79 total tackles last year and adding a pick, Jones also tallied 5 sacks. That number ranked fourth on the Dolphins, but it led every defensive back in the entire National Football League. Jones may have already established himself as one of the best blitzing safeties in the league, but he told reporters at OTAs that his goal in 2022 is to become known as a more complete safety. My goal is to obviously kind of branch away from being labeled as this guy that can only blitz. This guy can't cover. This guy can't do this, Jones said. Just trying to be and find the best way for me that I could be well-rounded. Even if Jones achieves that goal, it isn't likely that he received the sort of press as Jamal Adams of the Seahawks or Derwin James of the Chargers, but it could have a similar impact for Miami for a fraction of Adams' salary. So I think if I applaud them. I think this is a great pick by them, but I don't think it's the right pick. To me, our best kept secret, you already know what time it is. It's Zach Seiler, baby. Zach Seiler, whatever you want to call him. I don't care. I'm calling him Zach Seiler. I mean, we're talking about an absolute stud. All right. I mean, you got 518 snaps last year on 234 pass rush snaps, 23 pressures, 2 sacks, 3 hits, 18 hurries, 3 batted passes, 42 tackles, and then 18 assists. So, you know, I've already banged the table that he's our most underrated player, but he's our best kept secret. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. I mean, like, the guy's been an absolute stud. We've got 5.5 sacks off him last year for pennies on the dollar. You want to go even better? Check this out. Zach Seiler had the 3rd most run stops in the NFL. Let me put it this way. He had 34, okay? Christian Wilkins had 35. Christian Wilkins was 3rd best. Christian Wilkins played 65 more run defense snaps than him. And only had 1 more stop. Aaron Donald only had 6 more run stops than Zach Seiler. But guess what? Zach Seiler played 278 snaps in run defense. Aaron Donald played 442. Zach Seiler is a goddamn beast right now. Like, absolute beast. I mean, we're talking about, if you look at anyone who played, you know, 220 snaps or more last year, we're talking about this guy has a 2nd best run stop percentage in the NFL. He has a 12.7 run stop percentage. So what that means is the amount of run defense snaps up against his run stops. So basically on 12.7% of his snaps, he was making a run stop. That was 2nd best in the NFL. The only one ahead of him was DJ Jones in San Francisco at 13.1. That was better than Jeffrey Simmons. That was better than Ed Oliver, Deron Payne, Christian Wilkins. I'm telling you, man. The guy's an absolute beast. The guy is an absolute beast. And again, top 10. Yeah, seventh most tackles amongst interior players as well. I mean, Zach Seiler is just a goddamn monster. It's the best kept secret. People in league circles and people around the league, some people know Brandon Jones because they've at least seen him on the highlights. No one knows who Zach Seiler is unless you stumbled across the article of him talking about how he lives on the swamps. So, I got a Zach Seiler for my money. That's the guy right there, bro. That's the guy right there. Zach Seiler is a monster. Monster. I mean, we're just talking about run stops. Go look at him as a pass rusher. He had the 12th best pass rushing grade from PFF amongst all interior defensive linemen who played at least 160 snaps or more in pass rush situations. Zach Seiler is slept on. And we talk about how superstars need to be fed the rock. Feed this man snaps. Feed Zach Seiler snaps. I was a little weary of AVG taking on, a more productive role last year and having more responsibility put on his plate. I'm not worried about Zach Seiler. And the flexibility he offers you and the versatility he offers you, being able to work inside, outside. Man, Zach Seiler, pennies on the dollar, and the guy gives you star quality play. But, and we got him off the waiver wire from Baltimore for nothing. So, disruptor when he's pass rushing, right? Pocket disruptor when he's pass rushing, run stuffer when they're running the football against us. The guy's a stud. The guy is an absolute stud. Guys, 320 of you in the room. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. Alec Ingold, baby. How can you not be hyped? How can you not be hyped? Higher passer rating generated when targeted since 2019 amongst fullbacks. Alec Ingold, number 1 at 125.4, just ahead of Kyle Juszczyk and CJ Ham. How can you not? Man, when this guy gets healthy, I told y'all, there's only one guy who's more of a perfect fit in this offense, and he's on the bay right now. Alec Ingold, man, we talk about Darrell Bevell being one of the most, underrated and probably best coach signings of the offseason. Alec Ingold got to be there too. That's one of the best and most underappreciated additions for the Dolphins. And I know people aren't talking about him yet because he's been dealing with injury and such. But wait till this guy comes back. This guy's going to be a difference maker. And we're already seeing, when we watch Tua in his workout sessions, they got Lovett out there. So I formation, we know the condensed stuff. Man, I can't wait to show you the McDaniel film study I got coming out after this Tyreek one on Tuesday. Absolute beautiful stuff. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And then finally, guys, just a cap update as we head in to training camp here, as we get ready for the rookies report on Tuesday. The Miami Dolphins, you see them right here. Right there. Right there. $16.5 million left to play around with. That is 7th best in the NFL. So a $16.5 million, cap, $16.5 million worth of cap to play with is quite significant. Let's hope some guys get cut and we can move in and we can add some more. But we got the right amount of financial capital to potentially add some bodies who get cut from other teams that could make a difference in our lineup, as well as rolling over some cap into next year. So there is our updated salary cap space as the rookies look to report on Tuesday. Big week, man. Rookies finally reporting. I can't wait. Can't wait, man. Finally. I know the media is not going to be allowed in there just due to the fact that, it's not open yet, but I cannot wait, man. We need some football. We need football in life. Just so much nonsense going on in the community and such that it's evident that we need football now more than ever. You know what I mean? So, I can't wait. Like I said, though, Tuesday night, guys, we'll be live after the rookies report, and I'll be dropping the Tyreek Hill film study. I got 8 plays to break down for you that tell a lot of different tales of how effective he's going to be in our offense and for our offense and for the players in our offense too. There's some good stuff in that. So I can't wait to break that down with you guys on Tuesday. I'm probably not going to be live tomorrow night. If something breaks, I'll be live. But I got a lot of stuff going on tomorrow night with my daughters and such. So I don't know if I'll be live tomorrow night. I'm not planning on it. But if something breaks or something worse, if something that needs talking about happens, then we'll go. I'm looking at potentially Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going to be bringing on Ryan Roberts and Dante Colonelli. We're going to dive into the Dolphins draft class, and we're going to look at what realistic expectations should be for you guys. Who better than 2 draft gurus like that to break down some new prospects for you guys? You haven't had a chance to talk to Dante Colonelli or Ryan Roberts since the draft happened. So we're going to break it down with them, give you some insight of what you guys can realistically expect in year 1 from those players. And we're going to talk a little 2023 draft because we're draft heads and that's what we do. There's going to be some Will Levis talk, baby. That's what it is. So yeah, that's going to go down. Also, before the veterans report, I'm going to have a Mike McDaniel offense film study for you guys that I'll be dropping. On top of that, I'm going to be doing a pre-training camp panel show for you guys with some creators and some of the usual cast that you guys have known that, I always bring out here, some of the best heads in this community to talk football with you guys. So I'll be looking at doing that panel either this week or next. So if it works out, be out on the lookout, man. We got a lot of content coming for you. And before you know it, training camp's going to be here, baby. And then before you know it, it's going to be August. And then before you know it, preseason's going to be here. And then before you know it, the season's going to be here. Woo! Check your pulse, baby. Can't wait, man. So excited. Guys, I hope you've all had a fantastic, fantastic weekend. I know it's Sunday. Like I said when I opened the show, I know some of y'all are dreading the big Monday tomorrow. Fight through it. Go be your best. Greatness never takes a day off. I will see all of y'all. Expect me on Tuesday night, baby. Expect me when the rookies report and when we go over some Tyreek film. Expect that on Tuesday. If anything happens tomorrow regarding the Dolphins, you know where to have it locked in. I'll be live. You already know what time it is, baby. I appreciate you for all tuning in. We had a lot more than we had almost 350 people tonight. Didn't expect that on a Sunday, but here we are. I love each and every one of you. Have a fantastic weekend. I will see all of y'all on Tuesday. You already know what time it is, baby. Fins up all day, every day, baby.